Okay. Okay, Keegan. I've held in for so long.
I just
We
realized
are
we're not even like halfway through what we're supposed to do.
I'm an we're an hour and a half in and I'm like so ready to just spill the beans on this game. The
Hold
Last
on,
of
hold
Us
on,
2.
hold on.
You can
I gotta
take a little
stretch.
breather.
I gotta stretch a little bit. I've been like talking so much. So give me a little Croy.
A little bit of LaCroix. I'm all
Yeah,
out over here.
support us. All right. What'd you think?
All right, let me give a disclaimer. This is a spoiler review. And I am saying that with Keegan not having played the game because of a couple of reasons. First of all, the dude doesn't own a PlayStation and has no way of borrowing one from someone anywhere nearby. He's not going to buy one either because he's going to get the PS5 in November. Maybe. You might not
Yeah.
even buy it on launch.
Fuck Sony. All right, what's up?
Whoa, okay. He might not buy it on launch. So it's going to be like over a half a year before you are able to play this game, and I can't keep it in for that long. Like, on the podcast, like, we got to talk about this. That being said, I'm not going to spoil the first game for you because
Okay.
I think that game is very special and so you need to play that at some point. And considering you have avoided spoilers for this long, I'm just going to continue to not talk about that.
Is that why Gibbs just left the like? I guess
I didn't
we're
even
doing a
notice
live.
Gibbs out. He doesn't want to hear. All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Gibbs doesn't want spoilers. Well, I mean, I guess I'm editing this week because then he can't edit this part.
Sorry, bud.
I mean, like, all right. So, dude, I've never felt so conflicted about a video game in my life. I
Wow.
finished the game and was just like unsure. I could not think about, or I could think, but I couldn't formulate exactly how I felt. I'm going to go through what I liked first. All right. This game, like, the design of the levels and the graphics were like top notch. Like, it had some pitfalls with the graphics because it is just on a console, so like there were limitations, but the when you were walking through Seattle, like, you're just seeing a post-apocalyptic world and you're almost taking it for granted because it's so believable. Like, you see like all the cars like rusted and like vines growing over them, and like you can just like jump on them and interact with the environment like that. You can like go into buildings and like a lot of them are like have a full inside and like have drawers you can open and stuff, and it's pretty immersive that way. Now, I've never been to Seattle, but I saw Seattle natives talk about this game and say that it's almost pinpoint accurate of the downtown. Somebody said they found the building that they went to for a date, and it was the same window arching and like design. Like, they went to that level of it. I was watching a donkey video and like you see like the Seattle Convention Center or something like that, and then you look to the left and where the Cheesecake Factory is supposed to be, it was like some like fake company, like restaurant. And then he's like, man, this game sucks. It's not even the Cheesecake Factory. But like, they put that level of detail in, and I like that a lot. Also, the game is linear, right? And some people were like, okay, like, we're moving away from linear games. I don't think this game would have done well if it was just open world, you go where you want, because you're like watching slash playing a story. And for how linear it is, they had so much you could explore inside of that. Like, they had a small little open world segment where the Seattle downtown area, and you really only had to go to like two parts in there, but you could go to like 12. You could just explore. And some of the best moments in the game, like emotionally and just like character building, are hidden behind stuff you need to find on your own. Like Ellie picking up a guitar and just like playing Take On Me acoustic cover to her girlfriend. Like, you could just completely miss that. And like, I thought it was really cool that like that's just like hidden in there. You got to go find it. Um the gameplay was improved from the last one. They added a dedicated dodge button, which doesn't work, so I'll get to that later. But it like added another layer where like in the first game, like I was just sitting there just like tanking damage, just like, oh, like, oh, I can't move. But like now you can like attempt to dodge. They added prone, so we're now I can like dive into the bushes. Like I don't just like slowly just go in and just like sit down and then like hope I don't get seen. Like I can like scramble away and like dive into the bushes, which was really cool because like you could be about to be seen and then like, okay, now I'm safe. Like we'll chill. And there's like a lot of tall foliage and grass like everywhere that you can like hide in and people can come find you in it. So that was really cool. And then tying all of this together is this heart pounding, like just like anxiety inducing soundtrack where like you're like getting just like this adrenaline rush, but like it's not like Doom where you're just like frantic. It's like I'm like shitting my pants. I have no ammo. Who's trying to find me? Like, what do I do? There's so many people. Like, I was like trying to sneak, but then at some point you're gonna reach this point where like you get found out and you just kind of have to roll with it. Like, okay, now I'm running to hide, like I don't have like anything, I gotta reassess the situation. And once you beat the encounter, you're sitting there like soaked in blood, like and mud, and just like shaking. Like your character's even like the screen's kind of going like blurry, and your character's like, oh my gosh, like what the heck did I just do? So like that was pretty cool. Now it takes a turn later, which I'll get to in the cons, but like first half of the game or so, I loved that. Like it was a huge step up from the first game. Now, to contrast that, they also have like those sweet moments that come like in between, which like these flashbacks. So like you get to see the softer sides of characters. They're not just like these heartless killers, but like the pacing of them doing that was distracting, which I'll get to. But I'm going through my notes right here because I took lots.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, I have no context.
The attention to detail that I was mentioning before, they took that to the next level with like, let's just start with the rope physics. They spent a ridiculous amount of time just nailing down and coding and meshing with the art style this rope physics where you can get a rope and it can collide with any point of it. You can wrap it around things and like get pulled back when you go too far, and like you can throw it over the top of like poles and it'll like hang, and now you can climb it. Like it's insane. Like I've never seen a game have that level of physics on just like a rope. And the ropes come into play because you can throw them to progress the story, right? But then like, okay, wait, what happens if I throw it over here on this pole and I swing from it and now I get to that ledge that I couldn't reach before? Like there's that level of exploration, which I thought was pretty cool. But like I was reading up like a dev talk about it, he's like, dude, this was like probably the most painful thing I had to code. Like it was so difficult. And I'm like, I can imagine. And some people are just like taking it for granted. Um Another detail, one of the characters that you play as, she has a fear of heights, right? So when you walk to the edge of something, like get close to it, you know that depth of field effect where stuff stretches? That
Yeah.
happens. And she starts shaking. And she's
Oh shit.
like it's nuts. Like, and it would happen even in the parts that aren't story related. So like I'm just like on a like a fire escape, right? And I look down and she starts shaking. And I'm like, whoa, like that's kind of crazy. Like they went into that detail with it.
That's cool.
Um and then like the expressions of the characters is just like next level. Like it's just like straight up acting. And like they're using the motion capture and stuff, but like it is pretty crazy the way they did that. Anything else? Oh yeah. They added a couple new enemies. Now, with it being set in the same world only a couple years later, it was like difficult for them to put in like a ton of new enemies without ruining the story. Like where were these in the beginning of the apocalypse kind of thing? But what they did is they kind of just like morphed what they had. So like in this game, you have like runners, just basic zombies that can see and just attack you. They have clickers that are blind, but they use echolocation from these clicky noises to find you, and they kill you just like instantly if you don't like combat them, like counter them. Like you can't like fist fight them.
Oh.
Then you got a step further where they're called bloaters, and these dudes have been infected for a long time, and they just like charge at you. They like beat you up. They like throw pus at you. It's nuts. But what they
Ew.
did,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
god.
it's nuts. But
I wish I never heard that sentence. Oh. They beat you up. They throw pus at you.
now they have two new ones though. The one of them I don't really know where this one was at. This is the one where it's kind of like I don't know where this fits, or maybe even I might be forgetting it from the first game. I don't think so because like these things scare the shit out of me. They have
Okay.
these ones called stalkers that don't fight you on sight. They run and hide and then jump out at you. Now, of course, they only come out when it's freaking dark, right?
Well, yeah.
So like I'm shitting my pants, but like I just found out that like all I need to do is just like beeline it at them, and then like they kind of hesitate. So then I was just like, all right, shotgun to the face, like you're done. Like otherwise, I was literally around every corner, just like what? Yeah, oh shit, like I was scared, dude. Um,
So basically, so far this game is shit your pants level.
Oh yeah, like it's anxiety inducing, and they did a good job of making you feel like in an apocalyptic scenario at a disadvantage. So that's cool.
That's
But
all.
then they added a new enemy that I at first thought was like a kamikaze. That like every game has that character. They run at you, they explode, and you got to just avoid them. No, this thing is a cross between a clicker and a bloater, and it like took a path in between, and it
So
like
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but just the enemy names just getting me. Sorry.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
right. They like run at you and they explode spores at you that like burns you, but then they just stay like they're not dead, like they can do it again. So like you have to like run, keep your distance, and like keep fighting them, and they just keep charging at you. It's
Huh.
nuts. And then the last one that they added, they had like a Resident Evil level like boss. The first game doesn't have any boss battles. It just has like difficult encounters. I think they realized that was missing, and they added like a tough ass boss battle. Like you go to an area that hasn't been explored since the outbreak. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, there's going to be a big boy down here." And like he comes out and it's like straight up like three enemy types morphed into one, like a Resident Evil mega zombie kind of thing, and it's like out to just murder you. And you have like this tight little area that you can like squeeze through things and like try narrowly escape, but then he'll just bust through the wall. So you have to like keep spatial awareness of where you are, because if you get trapped in a corner, there's no escape. Like he just kills you. Like you have to like think about what you're doing as you're frantically running, like no breathing. It's nuts. And I was sitting there like I at first I was getting upset at the game because some of the difficulty, like I played it on hard, but then they have this way you can customize it where you can change like the health of the enemies, or like how much resources you can find, or like other
Right.
little variables. So like you know how you always complain about video games having difficulty, just be like, okay, here, just add more enemies or whatever, like when we were playing
Add more
Halo.
health.
This game allows you to change it individually. So I put everything to survival, which was the hardest except for resources, because resources were already so scarce that I was too scared to go on survival, because I'm like, dude, I'm never going to find anything.
Right.
So anyway, I'm playing it on survival difficulty almost, and I'm running around like I die in one hit. Like, what do I do? I'm just like frantically searching. It took me like 6 or 7 tries, but I finally nailed it. But the character or enemy design was pretty nice. I thought that was cool. Now, this is the controversial section of the game. You
Wait, we're getting.
already,
Can we just hold on?
yeah.
Like the fact that like you have any like the fact that you're still conflicted after that hefty amount of pros is making me nervous for what you're about to say, because like all week you're like, yo, this game's so controversial, I'm so conflicted, dude, like there's so many political things, and like dude, the people hate on it, and I'm like, but like you're still playing it, like you're finishing the game, and like what I've seen, it looks dope, so I'm like really curious to see what's negative about this game.
Yeah. And that's a good point. Like I still was playing it, and I don't think there was ever a circumstance where I wouldn't finish this game because I had to know what happened. Because I was so emotionally attached to the first game that I wanted to see what happened in the second one. And like for whatever it was. But did you notice how nothing I mentioned was pros about the story?
That's yeah, that's also very true. You're like, yeah, the combat's dope. I'm on anxiety. They have like good touches, and it's like I'm like, so like, did you like the game? Did you like the outcome?
So here's where I'm at. The story could have been so much better, but ultimately it was ruined by its delivery and pacing. It was horrible. Like I was so disappointed. But let me give you a little backstory. So another reason why I'm spoiling this game for you is because it's almost a social experiment for me, because the leaks happened and they were pretty accurate, and then people still played it, and then they formulated their own opinion. So like I'm basically going to leak this game to you with your approval. You told me you don't mind.
Leaks. All right,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then you're going to play this at some point later down the line after playing the first one unspoiled, and then I want to see what you think. So
fair. Okay.
there's certain details that I'm going to have to be kind of vague about so they don't spoil the first game, but the controversy stemmed between like Naughty Dog, a lot of like upper management left, and like people thought that they leaked the game because they didn't like what was happening, but it was determined that a third party leaked the game, and I don't know how that person like found out about what the game was about, because they basically wanted to leak it because they thought it was like bad. I'm pretty sure like it was almost like a whistleblow, like yo, like this game isn't gonna be what you think it is. And from the day they announced the trailer, like E3, just a teaser, like it was just Ellie's revenge story. You see Joel come up to her like, hey, how you doing, kiddo? And she's like, I'm gonna kill every single last one of them. And you're like, who wronged her? What happened? Right? Then the
Yeah.
trailer for the game comes out more recent, and again, they make it seem like something's gonna happen to her, and maybe it's her girlfriend, maybe it's another family member, or well, I guess she doesn't have like blood family in the game. She has just like people that are close to her, and like
Right.
Joel's gonna go on this journey with her to help her get revenge. Bro, they killed Joel in the first 2 hours of the game, and I wasn't surprised, right? I was like, I expected Joel to be killed in this game. But how are you about to put a fake, fully fake, like story altering scene in the trailer where he's like, you think I'm going to let you do this alone? And then you just kill him and then sub in another character there. This
Oh, I didn't even
They
like
subbed another character in his spot. This isn't Avengers level where in the story or the trailers, they just put extraneous characters in just so it doesn't ruin what's actually happening there. They straight up lied. Like, this is what's happening in this scene. No, they replaced the character. Joel was already dead.
So then, who's she getting? Wait, okay, okay.
So,
Hold on. So you're telling me she's telling her dad she wants to get revenge?
no. She doesn't have a father. Like, Joel is her father figure.
Right. She's telling him in the trailer, I want to get revenge. He's like, yeah, I'll help you.
Oh, yeah. The very original trailer, he comes up and then asks what's going on.
But now it's like the actual revenge is just her getting it on her for her quote unquote father.
Yeah.
Figure.
Yeah. So we're already not feeling great, right?
Yeah.
I am not bothered yet. I'm kind of like, okay, so Joel is the reason why we're going on a freaking rampage. But then I literally am like, wait, why is he in the trailer saying, you think I'm gonna let you do this alone? And then like I found out that was just a lie and it was like a fake scene. And I was like, I don't think you can do that much of a fake scene where you literally change and alter the course of the story that you're selling us. Like, you just did a full spin zone to the fans in like a very like cheap way.
Now, here's what they should have done. I agree that they're in a tough the game creator is in a tough spot. Okay?
Wait, hold on, Keegan. What I'm going to say next, I'm sorry to cut you off, is going to alter what you're going to say now. Because there's more levels to the bullshit that happens in this game.
Okay.
So I want to catch your opinion at the end. You can tell me if what I'm going to say alters it after I'm done saying it, but like
Okay.
this is the biggest bombshell. This chick that kills Joel, I can't reveal her motives. She kills Joel, like, and Ellie witnesses it. She's basically like, dude, you're done. Like, you're ended. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna kill you. And then it's unbeknownst to me why her and her groups doesn't just kill her right there. Like, story over. But like, they don't. Now she's going off to get revenge. You get to Seattle, where her group of the chick that killed you or killed Joel is, right? You play 3 days in Seattle and you're like, you're getting closer. You're getting closer to Abby, the chick that killed Joel. You're like, oh, I'm close. You meet her and then they cut and now you start playing as Abby 3 days ago. So you played half the game with Ellie. It's probably been about like 12 hours, the length of the first game. And now they're like, oh, haha, now you're playing as Abby. And I thought it was just like a side thing because you had already played as Abby for like a small section in the beginning, like just so you can introduce her. But now I look at my weapon wheel and my skill trees and I'm reset. And I'm like, you motherfuckers. Like, we started over. And now I have to play half the game with Ellie. Or, excuse me, Abby. And at first I was just like, why would you do this? Like, this is just... Like, I was so confused. And then the motives were revealed. So, essentially, you're on Team Ellie from the start because of what happens in the first game. Team Ellie and Joel. Joel got wronged, Ellie got wronged. You want revenge for her. You don't care what happens. You're kind of on her side. And you kind of see through the course of the her half that she's going kind of ballistic. And you're kind of like, Ellie, like, who are you? Like, what's going on? Right?
Okay.
You're all like against Abby. When you play as Abby, you're supposed to see her personal side, how she's not a heartless killer usually. She's just like Ellie. She's like almost parallel to him, where like you want to get justice for what Joel did, so she kills him, but now now Ellie wants to get justice for Abby killing Joel. So like you're like, okay, now whose side am I on? That's basically what they wanted to show. Like, and what revenge does to people, like, and how it like deteriorates their relationships. So now when you play as Abby, you get all the way to Ellie where you just met her and you get to see like the intertwines of it. That's the cool part. Like, you know how movies like to do that, like Christopher Nolan, he'll show like non-linear stories and they mix. I love that. Not for a video game. Doesn't work. Especially when you expected to play as the one person through the whole thing. But this is also where we start having more issues. When you meet Ellie again, they still make you play as Abby. So now I'm fucking fighting Ellie as Abby when I want her to kill Abby. So I'm sitting here like, what is this? Am I actually about to kill Ellie? And like, it was a weird dynamic. And then shit goes down there, and like, I don't know, but like, what you were gonna say before, let me get your input now, because what I just told you might have altered the whole like Joel being killed thing.
Okay. I'm still in support of the game creators. I think ultimately it was a failed risk. I think it here's the thing. If they would have told the story right, or if they would have promoted it better, let me start with the promotions, because that opinion hasn't changed since you told me the bombshell.
Okay.
The way they should have gone about it, sequel already has hype. Everyone loves the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do too much in that teaser. You could have had Ellie sharpening some bows or some shit. He comes in the background. He's like, "You ready to go, kid?" And then that's it.
Yeah.
Cut. That teaser's done. Next one, a little bit of co-op. Maybe they're hunting a deer or some shit. Little bit of gameplay HUD. Couple enemies come in. They kill them together. That's your gameplay teaser. That's it. Could have been Simple as that for their promotions. And maybe people wanted more, but they said, nah, it'll reveal too much. People would have understood. Let me get that straight. And I think that would have solved a lot of their fans being misled bullshit. And people had the same problem in Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. So I get it. They could have gone about a different way. And for the game developer to be like, we had to do something. It's like, well, yeah, you could have done way less.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. The story and narrative, I think, could have been mind blowing to you. It could have been that Christopher Nolan non-linear bullshit, holy shit perspective, holy shit revenge is fucked up. This game is mind blowing in the behavioral aspect of a video game. Oh my god, it's next level.
Mm-hmm.
They just missed the shot.
That's a good way to put it.
They took the risk, and here's the thing: you're either in or you're out.
Oh
You
yeah,
either
and some
shut up
people are full in. They love it.
well, that, or as a game developer, when you do something this risky and this like crazy of a narrative, and like never before done, where you are the antagonist fighting the fucking protagonist at the end, you either go full in to support it or you don't. And then if you don't, if you're half in, half out, and you're like just kind of trying this big different narrative style and movie-esque exclusive follow up to the first renowned, not like awarded prestigious game, then if they were this half in trying different things, it would have even failed harder, in my opinion. At least they committed to the latter half, and then the ultimately the conclusion of the game.
I haven't even told you the conclusion yet, dude. There's so much more.
Oh,
But
fuck.
yeah,
Okay.
keep going.
But that's my, like, as you were explaining that, I was like, oh, that's kind of a mistake, but I could have seen how it got better. Oh, that sucks that's how you viewed it, and that's how a lot of people viewed it. They could have done it better.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it yet, and honestly, I'm not a fan of when you do that switch. I want to play as a character that I like. Don't build up all these emotions if I'm just gonna have to restart. That to me is dumb. But I haven't seen it work yet for me. I'm curious. Like, maybe this could have been the game. Maybe it would have worked. I don't know, but somebody has to make those risks, right? Because if you're a game developer, you don't normally want to make these risks. You don't normally want to, like, oh, this is gonna piss off the fans if it fails. Better try it out. Most of the time, you're gonna be a game developer's like, yo, the fans are gonna eat this shit up. Like, we're gonna have fully customizable, no microtransactions, eat it up, like all that shit, right? So,
and you know what Neil Druckmann straight up said? He's like about to release the game, and he, before it even got leaked, I'm pretty sure, it was like, this game is gonna be controversial. Like he just like wanted it to be. So like he got it. Like, some people like it and some people hate it. It's really polarizing amongst the fans.
and I like that. Like, I want more game developers like that, because without them, we just keep having smash. Like, I don't remember if you remember like the 360 PS3 days, but a lot of those games were cookie cutter, just beat 'em ups, bullshit games that for a while there we were in a rut. And game developers like that take those risks. This is why we're at the point where we're at, where we could have games like The Last of Us that are these super narrative, heavy based, survival games, and you have Disco Elysium, indie dudes that are making bold gameplay choices, and it's why we're at where we're at. And it just sucks that like it's so polarizing, and that it didn't quite hit the way that they wanted it to. And maybe they're really proud of the game, like maybe. And I think he does fully support this game, and he should. But my biggest thing so far, and I know you're about to tell me the ending, is the fans played the full game. If you're a game developer, that should be the goal. And if they hit the goal, great. And if they didn't like it, learn from it and apply it to your next game. But at least they finished the game. The gameplay wasn't annoying enough to be like, fuck this, I don't give a shit.
There are some cons to that. Like,
okay.
I agree. Like, yeah, they got the fans to play the whole game. And I think that's a testament to, like, maybe they thought they could save it because Naughty Dog made such an excellent first game. They had such a good track record running, and they've made stuff like Uncharted 4. Like, they've made great video games, right? So like
Yeah.
people are like, I need to finish it, especially since if you don't like it, you can't bash on it if you didn't finish it. You know what I mean? Like it's like you gotta give it the full chance. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. But like the delivery, like you said, you're not a big fan of the character switch. Like for instance, Metal Gear Solid 2, Solid Snake is the main character in Metal Gear. Everybody's expected to play that game when it comes out as Solid Snake. All the promotions, Solid Snake, Solid Snake. They showed all that gameplay. Solid Snake is the first mission. Like that's who you play as. Ellie is the only character they showed playable in the game, like all the trailers. They made it look like this game was like 30 hours of Ellie. It's not. So then, like in that Metal Gear game, after the first mission, Snake looks like he dies, and now you play as this other character that you don't know who the hell it is. You're like, who is this dude? And then he like you unravel more of the story. Snake's not dead. He comes back into the story, but he's on your side. That's the difference. It's not like they forced you. They're basically forcing you to be like, okay, like I know y'all like Ellie, but like this is who really should win. Force you to play as them the whole time, and then now let's say Snake comes back, and then now Raiden's supposed to kill him or something.
You know what they should have done? Ending the fight or whatever, and you haven't told me the conclusion, but do they make you choose, or do you
That's what should happen. You don't get to choose. It's literally you just playing Neil Druckmann's vision, which is like, okay, yeah, that's great and all, but like you just set the fans up for this big expectation and then just balled it up and threw it in the garbage and set it on fire. Like not even in a kind way. Like, oh, like I know you guys might think this is the way that it's gonna go. It's just like that isn't what should happen. So
I can see the vision of revenge is supposed to be disgusting, and that you should be disgusted by the ending of this game.
But here's the problem. So let me tell you what happens in the game before I tell you how it should be fixed and the additional problems with it. This game, you're fighting Ellie as Abby, the person that you wanted to kill, and Ellie is like suddenly like super hard to fight. Like,
That's like
I was like, Abby was the one that was beating the shit out of her earlier, but now that I'm Abby, I'm getting shit beat out of me as Ellie. You know what's funny? My dad did this too, because earlier in the game, but as Abby, I just let her kill me. I was like, oh, she got the revenge, game over. We're good. Let's go home. But like you don't get anything for that. Like you actually are supposed to fight her. So you skirmish, right? And then like it's basically a stalemate because during Abby's story, this young girl or boy and girl saves your life, and they're on the opposing side because these two warring factions in Seattle, the WLF and the Seraphites, they've been fighting. Two Seraphites save your life, so it's like the Good Samaritan. Now they're in trouble, and then Abby goes back to save them and then betrays her group, right? So now you're like, oh, like she has a kind, like she cares for these kids, like you're supposed to be with them. When she's about to end the life of one of Ellie's best friends, the guy that saves her life, the kid, is like, Abby, don't. Like, she's like disgusted with her. And then she hesitates and then just like leaves. She's like, if I ever see you again, like you're done. Like I don't want to ever see you again. So then from that point, it's a stalemate. Like, okay, nobody got revenge. Like we're good. We're done. You get to see a resolution. Now they're all happy. They're living at a farm in the middle of nowhere. It's her, Dina, and a baby. Because I guess I forgot to mention Dina's pregnant at some point in the movie. The game. That's not like a huge, like crazy twist. I don't know. It made sense.
Okay.
There's a baby. So they're living there. Everything's good. Joel's brother, he comes and like guilt trips you into like, why are you done? Like you didn't finish it. You promised me. And like she's having like PTSD when she's just like doing simple things like herding the sheep into the barn and like something falls and she's like having flashbacks to Joel getting killed. So she's like wrecked, right? She's not sleeping. That guilt now gets to her. She now abandons her girlfriend and the kid. She had like a great life, right? Dina comes down and is like, what are you doing? Like she's like, I gotta finish it. She's like, no, you don't. Like we're good. She's like, I can't sleep, I can't eat, like I can't do anything. I need to finish this. So now she abandons them and goes all the way to find her at her next lead location where Abby said she was going, which is in Santa Barbara, California. You now go on another murder tangent trying to get to her, and she's been captured at this settlement. You then free her. She's about to escape, and then she's like, Ellie goes, I can't just let you leave. And then she's like, fight me. And then Abby's like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, let's just leave. And then Ellie's like, no, like, fight me. And then now it's this scripted ass fist fight, which I hate that shit. I hate it when it's just like mash the punch button and then dodge when they swing. That's not fun, because that's what the final fight is. It's just like avoid her attacks, beat up. Like, it's dumb. Ellie has her to the point where she's about to drown her underwater. This is where the choice should come in. Do you kill her after seeing who she is? After she has not forgiven, but has gotten over it, and Ellie is still traumatized. Do you do it? Because as a player, everybody's polarized. They have their own opinions. Let them make that choice. Ellie just stops. Sits up. She's like, get out of here. Then she leaves. And then Ellie goes back home to the farm. And Dina and the baby are nowhere to be found. They moved out. Like she's lost them. So, like, yes, the moral of the story is, like, when revenge becomes your only motive, you lose everything. But you just tried to make me feel bad for going on an unavoidable murder spree through this entire game. Like, literally unavoidable. You are forced to do it. And even the encounters are shaped so where stealth doesn't even fucking work half the time, because there's so many enemies. They'll see you. You got to kill them. So you just made me go on a whole murder spree to make me feel like, oh, what I'm doing is bad, but you didn't give me the choice to do it at the end.
Okay. Gibbs, you can come back in. There's no more spoilers. I'm giving my conclusion here.
I don't know, Gibbs. You might want to stay out a little bit longer.
I'm done trying to defend the game developers now. Like, here's the thing. Games becoming more narrative based and heavy, like almost movies. Great.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is sometimes developers and game developers shouldn't be in charge of writing stories. Sometimes they just...
Neil Druckmann was I'm pretty sure the one that had the vision. He's just like the creative director.
I know, but I'm just saying that, like, sometimes, like, let's say you were pitching this as to become a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That shit would have been cut. It'd be like, yeah, you already sold the point, dude. You already
that whole scene after she's at the farm is just extraneous. Get rid of it. It has no place.
My thing is you're at that point you're being emotionally abusive to your audience.
They're just teasing.
You're dragging them through it. You're selling your point. It's you're selling your point too far, and you're trying to put a loop inside of a loop, and then what you want them to have the perspective from Abby's side and then resolve it, but then, oh, I want Ellie's side. Well, if you want Ellie's side, then don't even tease us. Give us some, like, cinematic thing that, like, tells us her story so we have some sort of tie and get her side.
Mm-hmm.
And then bring us back.
That's what I thought. We don't even need to play as Ellie or Abby to understand her point. Maybe that wasn't as effective in his mind. So, like, I guess playing as Abby isn't as problematic as I might be letting on. But let me say this. When I was playing as Abby, I didn't feel like I was playing The Last of Us anymore. It lost all charm that it had in the first half with Ellie. It lost all feeling that it might have related to the first game. I felt like I was just playing a new game in the same engine.
Yeah, and you as a game creator, you have to ask yourself, what was my end goal? And doing those different perspectives and emotions and, you know, causing these emotional reactions and the decisions being made in the game, if they don't lead to a conclusion that has an ultimately decision to be based on your audience member, what's the point of making them have these ties to them if you aren't going to make them utilize those emotions within the game? Mm-hmm. Instead, you're just making them sit sideline and have an anxiety attack as they have to drown some girl that they don't want to, and they don't want to be at the end of this game. So that's where I'm just on a roller coaster of trying to defend, not defend, and now
I
I'm
mean,
just
you're playing both sides, and I like it because it's giving me insight to like what I might be biased about. But like I said, I couldn't get my words out first when I first finished the game. But Cole Carnage, like I watched his opinion on it, and like he started taking the words out of my mouth. Like I was finishing his sentences as he was starting to say them. I was like, dude, like this is exactly like what I felt, and like that's kind of what I laid out here. It's got some pretty solid gameplay, but the story ruins it. It's not delivered well, and the pacing is garbage. So like it could have been so much better, but it's distracting. Like, not even just with you playing as Abby, but when you're playing in between each day in the city of Seattle, you have to play like a flashback. It's not a cutscene. You play it. And it's like, okay, I just got done just like stuffing some dude's face in it. Now you want me to like cuddle up with someone? Like, what is this? Like, this transition is like distracting. It's not really working. And then also the whole like unavoidable killing sequences where like they're trying to show the bad side of Ellie and it worked. Like there's one scene in particular where you're going to kill one of Abby's like friends and you see it from her point of view, but you're controlling Ellie.
yeah, and it just it tells me as somebody like on the outside, it tells me that the game creator is not confident enough in the writing. If he's constantly needing to make these jumps and constantly needing to literally make you do things like this, it
Mm-hmm.
means he's not confident in the writing of this story. And it sucks because if he was just a little bit more confident in it, he might not have needed to make these drastic gameplay differences. And maybe the game would have been a little bit more cohesive because they did rely on the writing and they trusted that their audience is, smart enough to grab those emotions and those ties just based on the writing alone. Um, but now I need to know, I need to fully experience it, even though I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. But to kind of answer your question that you were asking me today, like, hey, if I spoil this, are you still going to want to play it? I still want to play the series. I'm actually more curious
Oh,
than I
dude, well,
was.
I didn't even ruin the first game. Like, you still have no idea what happens in it.
Right.
And that's
And
the beauty of it. Like, and also, I think a flaw of it. This second game, like, didn't add anything.
can I say one more thing? So I will say I'm kind of glad this one was so polarizing because I don't think I would have been happy if this was another like Uncharted 4 scenario where there's like 5 games in the series. Like I want more games that are like 1-2 punches and then they move to some new IP. I
Mhm.
don't want 10 Nathan Drake games.
That's
And I
fair.
haven't played those, but from my perspective, I don't even want like 5 Avengers movies. I want different things, That's my same perspective on video games. I want them to take bigger leaps and bounds into different areas. I want a freaking Superman video game. I don't want another Batman. Well, I do want another Batman game, but I want, new things. So it then taking this bold conclusion and bold, wrap up, they might just be like, all right, now we can create some brand new IP and you guys will have to go check it out.
Keegan, I got some news though. So with with her obviously not dying and escaping, she wasn't like trying to find some new lead. Neil Druckmann has said that he is trying to determine whether his next game will be The Last of Us 3 or a new IP. And I think after this game, everybody's gonna be like, new IP, please. Like, don't keep doing this. So we'll see. They could. He also expressed interest in if he did another or Last of Us 3, it might follow all new characters. So I don't know. But let me, before we wrap up, I
Okay.
want to just go through the other things that were cons for me that aren't story related.
That was one con.
That was one con, the garbage storytelling. So
Okay.
this game, this game is brutal, right? Like you've seen a little bit of gameplay, it's really violent. This
Yeah.
game is super dark. Like I literally couldn't see anything. Like, dude, You spend half the time in dark ass areas, like in buildings, with just your little flashlight. Like, in Pokemon, before you get Flash as an ability and you could see just like a centimeter around you, that's what I felt like. So like it's supposed to add to the spookiness, but also like there's this weird effect where like if you like look at a certain area that's like lighter and then you look down at the darkness, like it like does like a refocusing. So it's like intentionally supposed to be super dark. And I even knocked my brightness up to like higher than it's supposed to, and it still was kind of bothersome. So it was giving me a headache too because like,
Well, you're grinding up 3 a.m. You're
well,
trying to.
yeah, but like there's motion blur, there's film grain on top of it that you cannot turn off. You can turn off the motion blur, you cannot turn off the film grain, which is dumb because the game looks beautiful without it. Don't know why they have a non-toggleable film grain. And then you have this bright ass flashlight in a dark background that you're just like whipping around, and it's like this is like gonna give me a seizure. Like I didn't appreciate that. Then you know how I said the gameplay felt nice, like it was an upgrade. It wasn't. The game didn't feel as modern as when it came out because they spent so long making this game. It feels like Last of Us 1 got finished, then they immediately started making Last of Us 2 and the mechanics of it, and then didn't update them. The mechanics didn't change. Like you still have the same weapon wheel where like you can only grab like one weapon at a time and you upgrade them later, and like that's not a big deal because like that's supposed to like play into the survival element, but like it felt still pretty clunky at times. Like there was times where I was trying to vault over something and my character's just like not doing anything, or like I'm trying to dodge and the dodge button literally does not work half the time. Like they teach you like, okay, yeah, you're supposed to dodge, but it's not like Dark Souls or something where you have to time it perfectly. Like you literally can spam it. Like I've tried this. You can spam it and it'll dodge at the right time. But then there was times where I was pressing it like that or pointedly, and I would still get smacked by a zombie or like punched by someone. And I'm like, dude, I literally press dodge when I'm supposed to. Relax. Like, why am I taking damage? I would die so many times just because they wouldn't let me dodge or like vault over something or like jump backwards. Like it was weird. And then that carried over into like you can interact with the environment, like the doors or pick up items or open drawers with triangle, right? But the actionable area for it is way too like convoluted. Like I would press triangle to pick up some loot on the ground and she would like magnet over to open the door. And I'm like, "No. That I'm not even looking." And then there was times where like it'll show me like, "Oh, this can be selected with a little circle and triangle." But then like I would go stand on it and it would disappear. And I had to like walk away and then back up to then reselect it. Like for them having spent this a long amount of time, delayed it twice, and said they were putting all this work into it, it felt kind of like buggy that way.
It's probably
Like,
just the rope.
huh?
All
Just a
that
trope?
delay, just the rope.
Oh, the rope. Yeah, yeah. They put too much time into the rope detail, but not enough on the rest of the game. But uh what else? So that scripted cutscene that I told you at the end, there's a handful of those in the game, and they really just took away from the experience. Like I hated it because like you'll be like doing the whole like fight for your life stuff, but then it's like okay, now I'm locked into this one person, and it's just like I have to like get lucky with if they're gonna let me dodge. So I don't know. But then the last thing that I really did not like, and I feel like with all the attention to detail, they really failed on this front. In the first game, when you're with Ellie as Joel, you can both hide behind cover. Like, you can, like, I don't know, almost like hug around her in the cover. So, like, if she's in the way, I just, like, go around her. Like, you would, like, move around. In this game, if an NPC touches you, they boot you out of the way. I was so upset because there was times where I was behind cover and knocks me out into the way and I get seen. I was like, bro, are you kidding me? What happened to the layered cover or like just like normal AI? Like it was so stupid. So I got really upset about that, but they took that out.
It should
And
be reverse. It should be you can knock NPCs out of cover. Not
you can
oh,
collide with them. Like you can run into them and they'll kind of like jump out of the way sometimes, but then they can do it to you. So it's like, why would you ever push me out of cover? I'm the main character here. I'm trying not to die. They can run and pritz around all like unseen, like running right in front of someone. But then the second I get bumped out, like and my toe is out, you hear the sound like chom, you've been seen. Like, oh, it was so stupid. But yeah.
whew.
Big review of that game. I had some thoughts I had to spill. I can't wait till you play the first game. I honestly cannot, because
Neither. I'll do a let's play.
you're gonna like it. And the funny thing is, I said I was gonna put a let's play up of this game. I don't want to do that anymore because there are times in it where like I'm genuinely bored and not being entertaining. Oh, that's the other point I was gonna make. Yeah, because the first game is about like 12 hours long, let's say.
Yeah.
Let's say this game is now like 20 to 30 depending on like how much you explore. It genuinely feels like they took the 12-hour game and then they stretched it across the 30 hours and they just placed it in. It doesn't feel like they put enough content in that was meaningful. It felt like they tried to do too much, but they stretched the game too thin.
Yeah. I hate
when
that happens.
Yeah. So I'm not releasing the let's play because it's not entertaining to watch. But you should play the game.
Gibbs, come back in. We're done.
We're done.
And we're gonna be wrapping this shit up. He'll be putting that little subscribe button thing. Do the thing. Support us.
Do the thing. Yeah. We appreciate all the time. I mean, thanks for listening. I don't know if you have played the game and you listen to all that, let me know your thoughts. If you agree, you disagree. I'm not to the point where like I won't hear people who liked it because I want to know like what they liked about it. I'm on the side that doesn't like the game, like the story. So
come to our Discord. We could chat about it in the general chat. We'll do a little forum action in there. But if you're a fan of the show, like, subscribe. That always helps us. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully by then, I don't know when our end goal of that is, but hopefully soon.
Just when it happens.
Just when it happens. But if you have any friends that are video game advocates or IT people or just into tech or just like podcasts, send them our way. Keep listening, keep supporting us. We appreciate it. And please give us feedback if you have any.
For sure. All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Later, guys.